You're listening to Traumedy, the podcast that helps you take your pain and play with it. I'm Nancy Norton. I'm a comedian. I'm a nurse, although I haven't worked as a nurse in a long time. I work with nurses at conferences and all kinds of conferences, frankly. Where was I last week? A lawyer office, a legal office, the most beautiful lawyer office I've ever seen on the 29th floor in downtown Denver. I love sharing the power of humor, and I just got some feedback today that brought me to tears. It made me feel so good to hear the feedback I got from that conference. I got to tell you, I really needed it too. I've just been a lot of stuff going on, I think, energetically right now, where it's gosh, there's so much. It feels a little overwhelming. And then if you're like me and you're dissociating with a little doom scrolling, yeah, you can get into a little doom. I got to make sure and meditate, sleep enough. And it is currently, as I record this, 1:30 in the morning. This is just my pattern. I like to stay up late. All right. The guest I have this week, I'm sorry I've been a little spotty on my summer uploads, so I hope that you're hanging in there. I've been traveling, and then I recorded a couple of episodes in the Ozarks when I went to Branson and then to the lake cabin where I got to water ski, and I had a lot of fun. And here's what I got to tell you. I can have some judgments and stereotypes about folks in the Ozarks. That's where I'm from. And I got to remember things have changed since I lived there. I mean, the last time I lived there actually was the early 80s. So things have changed. I mean, there's a wide variety of people there. But anyway, the folks I worked with at the Branson Comedy Factory were wonderful. And so my first guest is a gentleman who is a promoter. He was at the shows. He was laughing big. He was having a great time. And turns out he's a trauma survivor times 7. So a lot of content in this episode deals with some really intense stuff. Cancer diagnosis, taking a life as an officer, suicidal ideation. So those are your trigger warnings for this episode. Coming to you live from Branson, Missouri at the Branson Comedy Factory inside Branson Columns. This is a special... Woo! Well, that's great for 2 people with PTSD. That got us going. That's what we needed because I felt the energy falling off. Okay. All right, I got to do a little heart check. Seriously, I mean, that was interesting. We both had
That's the ghost.
He
has arrived.
Oh, there are ghosts in the theaters, aren't there? We need to, okay, so I forgot to thank the ghosts. Give a shout out and to Lena. We got to thank everybody. All right, here we go again. Take 2, we're going to try to get it, even though we may leave that one in. Woo! All right. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. If you want to see a live comedy show with old Nance, I'm looking at my link tree right now. I need to turn up the brightness so I can read it because it's on night mode at 1:30 in the morning. It's all faded. In Silverthorne, August 7th. Skagit, Washington, August 9th. Louisville, Colorado, August 22nd. Denver, September 5th at the Bug Theater. A bunch of cool, brilliant women scientists and comedians getting together. Oh yeah, in September, going up to Rapid City, South Dakota, September 12, 13, and then back up to Washington, September 14, 15, 16 with Moms Unhinged. My big event, September 19th in Reading, Pennsylvania, September 20th in Homer, Alaska at the Alaska World Arts Festival. And then I'm going to do a Traumedy workshop, September 21st. This is my vision for Traumedy. I just want to say, it is my vision to be doing this live in real time, get a panel of comedians, some mental health experts around, and let's have a comedy show where we take your pain and play with it. All right, enjoy this episode. I'll see you on the other side. Well, welcome to Traumedy. My guest this week is coming to you live. We're here in Branson, Missouri. Back to my roots in the Ozarks. We're at the Branson Comedy Factory inside Branson Columns, and I just met this man. He is a cancer survivor, former deputy sheriff, and an amazing promoter. Please welcome Jason Lewis. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it. It's nice to meet you and be a part of it.
It's so cool. I trust the synchronicity. Like I do. You were saying we just had a little ghost walkthrough. And I do trust the spirit energy that guided us together, because I just happened to go down the hallway at the hotel and I saw this man. I thought, that man looks familiar. As I get closer, and we started talking, and you said in no uncertain terms that comedy saved your life. And
Absolutely.
I said, that's why I need to talk with you.
It really has. And I tell everybody that I meet, like, I've become an open book over the years, and I mean that. I believe it was you said the other night, if you make one person laugh, then the night's worth it. And if I can change somebody's day, life, whatever, with the story that I may have to help them, then it's absolutely worth it.
And also help yourself. Like, part of the Traumedy theme is called a co-healing. I've just really latched onto that term, because I used to think that, I'm a healer, I'm a nurse, 5th generation nurse. But then I found out really it's co-healing. Like, we raise each other's frequency by being authentic, sharing our journey. And here's what helped me. We're not saying we're experts. We're here to share, just peer-to-peer sharing. Here's something that got me through a rough patch. So thank you for being willing to come on here, because it's vulnerable.
It's an honor. Like, it really is. Like, I like to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
So if I tell people to open up, then I want to be that. I want to be able to open up if I'm telling somebody to open up. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, when I ran into you in the hallway, we ended up having a really nice conversation. I said, please, if you have time, and here we are sitting right inside the comedy showroom, and it's like amazing to me. First thing you shared was that you had stage 4 cancer. Do you feel like you could drop in and talk about that journey and how humor maybe helped you through it?
Absolutely. So I'm a cancer survivor. When I was diagnosed, at first it was, I don't want to say misdiagnosed, but it was missed. I had some lower back pain, and it kind of got misdiagnosed for a couple of weeks, because unfortunately for me, it happened on the weekend. So we went to the ER like people do, and I was told I probably had a urinary tract infection or something along them lines, a bladder infection or something. So they put me on some antibiotics, sent me home. I get better for a couple of days, and then bam, hit me again. The shorter version, otherwise we'd be here for 2 weeks talking about it, is I basically fell over in the middle of a Walmart in the fetal position, and I had a really good friend of mine with me, and he loaded me up.
Because the pain was so severe, it knocked you down.
It was
like it's like a shooting pain through your spine.
And it's just like my lower back. It really did feel like a kidney. Like that's about the area it hurt, and that happened on like a Thursday or something, maybe a Friday night, and I got to feeling better. So I was like, well, I'll just wait, and Monday I'll make an appointment with my actual doctor. And the little TMI is that me and my girlfriend decided we were going to fool around, and we started fooling around, and she very lightly touched my body, and it hurt like no other. And the little self-examination, and I immediately went into, oh my gosh, freak out moment, because I felt like I had Mount Rushmore on my boys. So
oh really? Testicular?
Yeah, it was testicular cancer.
Oh,
that
wow.
was, and so the pain that I come to find out now that I know is the pain the nerves are attached to your lower back. So I was my left testicle was in a bunch of pain, so I was feeling all the pain in my lower left back.
It refers the pain back here.
Yeah. So.
I did not. This is really good for people to know. If you start having something like that, like go make sure. And what do you think about doing the testicular self-exams? I mean, like check your boys.
Absolutely.
After a shower or during,
yeah.
or
Look, we're men. You're down there. Check them
at Walmart. You got pockets.
Yeah, exactly,
Do a little pocket
right?
pool. But so you were in shock. You were like, there is definitely a tumor.
Yes.
And how scary.
And that was a Saturday evening. I remember for a fact it was a Saturday. So I sat all night Saturday, all day Sunday, freaking out. Walking to my doctor's office on Monday morning, told him what I had found. He immediately brought me back to the exam room, and within a matter of hours had me in an oncologist appointment, had me x-rays, We were CAT scans and went through the whole shebang. And I was in surgery, I believe, within 3 days of my doctor's appointment.
Wow.
Because when they did do the scans, they found out that I basically there was it was all over. It basically head to toe, and
oh my gosh,
so
how
I knock on wood as I beat on my head.
Yeah. I'm knocking on my head.
I was lucky enough; I didn't lose any of my lymph nodes, so that was, if there's a positive for just the medical side of things, I was able to keep all that intact. So that was, but it was absolutely life changing for me. It brought me into from one point to a new point. And
how old were you when all this happened?
So I think I was 23.
Oh, so young.
Like 23. I think 23,
Wow.
24 maybe.
That's so young
So
to have that.
Yeah.
And one of my guests, Rick Bryan, a comedian in Denver, also had, that's one of the first jokes I ever heard him do, and I think part of his recovery was being, talking about losing one of his testicles, and he has some jokes about it.
Everybody I know that's been through it has jokes about it, and we've taught. That's how, obviously it's what you're doing here, but I think it's how a lot of people cope, and I think it just works. I was very lucky. I had a great support group, and I actually worked with a gentleman. To this day, his name, I'll call him Barton. He was a testicular cancer survivor. He worked with the same department that I did. He went through it a few years
when you
before
were
me.
Deputy?
Yes. And immediately was by my side, and after it's all said and done or whatever, we would literally stand together so we could tell each other we had a pair.
That's brilliant. I love that.
So
what are you, and this is like, I remember really like in the 90s when I was doing comedy, somehow I read an article how those radar guns that cops use can cause testicular cancer, that they set them in their laps sometime. And I mean, have you ever, did you ever have a radar gun in your lap?
No, so whenever
you
mine
don't know
was,
what caused it.
Right. So well, I think mine was probably from trauma. I played sports stuff growing up and had some injuries growing up because I was kind of a wild little child and didn't know how to not fall down.
Ouch. So you had some maybe a rupture.
Yeah, they think
sometimes
or
it comes
a
from
twist,
contortion.
So from what
I see guys at home going, oh.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, because I guess every guy has had the.
You're gonna cringe.
Oh. But so maybe a post-injury that caused something to go awry. We don't know.
Yeah. Now I will say, everything that I remember. First of all, I'm 49 now, so this has been a long time ago.
Wow, look how long you've been in remission.
Absolutely.
And you said you get yourself checked every year.
Yep, every once a year I go in, I get all my blood work done, and knock on some more wood that everything so far has checked out. So
I'm gonna unearth something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's wood, but I think it is. It's got something.
We're gonna call it wood. So, but yeah, so it's been a journey, and that was kind of the start of it. But
and all along, I'm just knowing you, like you just love laughing, and
I do.
I know that helps you, and I've said this on here before, but I'm going to say it again because I think it's worthy of repeating. Is when you laugh or when you get a joke, you actually lower stress hormones and raise your NK cells, your immune response, natural killer cells. NK cells, scanning your body for cancer cells, anomalies, viruses. It helps us stay well to laugh, and it keeps you well. So keep doing whatever it is. And then you do promotion for cannabis. So I was wondering, and I don't know if you're a pot smoker or if that's well, it's legal.
Yeah,
so you don't have to be in the closet about it.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of people giggle when they smoke pot. I do. I can't smoke pot very often because I feel so silly. Like I'm annoyingly, I talk even more, and I just laugh.
Same.
So crazily.
So I'm not a massive consumer, but I do partake occasionally. Honestly, I stay so busy with the promotions that
you don't have time.
I don't have time. Honestly.
You don't have time to partake.
I stay so busy. But I that aspect of my life, it's kind of circling back a little bit, is that we kind of talked before this started. Like, it's probably been in the last 10 years where I've really kind of come out of my shell as far as being like an outgoing person outside of my like local friends group. But I kind of, I guess probably about the same time I just started making the change to like make other people laugh or just be engaged, because I see the stress and the drama, the trauma that goes through everybody's life. I've done law enforcement. I drove a truck for 12 years. I got into beer sales, and then I was a bartender. So like
you've done a lot of like people service,
yes.
service industry, and then also you were saying back in the hallway, how it, and I think you alluded to it a minute ago, is that it changed your whole life trajectory. Like having cancer, and I was saying, like I have some friends who are cancer survivors, and it's like an exponential growth, almost like 2 lifetimes in one. So it's like the pre-cancer personality, and maybe the empathy. Like now you have such a more, does life feel more sacred, or is there something more tender?
I think with me, to be kind of raw, is growing up. I grew up with kind of a chip on my shoulder. We grew up poor. I grew up around not such a great lifestyle. There was drugs that were prevalent in the house, and I wasn't real happy growing up. And I kind of made a decision to go into law enforcement and to kind of just break away from that, try to be the change that I wanted. But in the process, being a little older now, like I was not healed. I was not in a good spot, and I was just an angry person. Most people that know me now would have never thought that I was the guy I was back then. You did not want to be around me. I was, for the better like words, I was an asshole. I mean, I just was.
You probably had a lot of reactive trauma. Anger is a secondary emotion after being afraid or being sad, severely sad. So like a sad kid, if didn't get your needs met, and also had parents that were irresponsible, not able to be parenting you had to parent yourself, kind of.
Right.
That is valid. I mean, anyway, I just want to say your feelings are valid. And to all the assholes out there, there's a reason. There's a reason you're an asshole. Like, I do have compassion.
Most of us.
It's most of us. I mean, I really do. It's like I try to have compassion for myself when I've gone off, or like it just points to where I need to heal a little more. But so do you feel like now you've healed some of that, or?
I think I've healed some of it. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, and I try to be, is that there's still moments, and I try to be better at recognizing those moments now. I try to recognize them, and I don't. My problem is, and it's kind of circling back to, and I think it involves my childhood, is I don't communicate well at all. I don't. Like, with me and you and a stranger, I communicate. People I am super, super close with, like, I try to compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize.
It takes a lot to put up with me, and I know this, and I know this, but I really was like, I
don't know, man. When people say that, you know what I mean? When somebody I always feel like it's the people that don't think they're a lot that are a lot, and the people that think they're a lot. I mean, you probably are. Like, I know you've got a lot going on. You're intense. But as authentic as you are, I've got to think that that's a huge value. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to. I think you were talking about rage and if you've healed stuff, but how do you feel but do you feel like is that where some of the stuff still comes out, is in those intimate relationships?
Yes, and I think that, I think a lot of us, if we're being honest, it's easier to sit from the outside and see issues that you can recognize it. Like, I have some very good friends of mine that I know they go through stuff, and I can see it, and I don't speak up, and I feel like, and then I feel bad because I know I should have said something to you. Not that they're doing anything wrong, but like I know, I can tell by the way they're treating their loved ones, and your home is your safe place.
Yeah.
And that's where you get away with a lot more there, because it is your safe place, and you can see the way that people treat their loved ones, and they're not that person. And they're not like that all the time. Yeah. And then
but stuff's up for them.
People need to talk more. Coming from somebody who doesn't communicate well.
Yeah.
But we need to talk more.
So you're working on that. You're working on taking
yes.
a breath and saying the thing that you don't want to say, which is I'm feeling a lot. I feel for me, I needed to learn how, and I do not have a significant other, and I'm not sure I'll ever have one again. I don't know if there's enough time for me to heal in this lifetime, but because I do feel like I don't want to project out, self-hate or shame or fear, but I do, like, I have a son, and I have to make amends to him quite often. Like, I'm like, that was not about you, and I apologize. Like, there's a activity sometimes where I don't come from the highest place that I want to come from. So I'm working on saying ouch, or I feel scared. That makes me feel, like trying to say the feeling that is usually hidden behind the anger, which is fear, right. And what is the other one? Sadness. I feel sad. I feel sad. And a lot of it, terrified of abandonment, is like something I say a lot.
And I absolutely understand that. I've destroyed a lot of relationships, and not necessarily because I've done something wrong, but I've gotten into relationships where you think it's going to work, and maybe the other person wants to make it work, but in all reality, it shouldn't have worked. We shouldn't have been together. But it's you said it a while ago. It's codependency, and it's at the time it's going to it's something you jump into, and then you let somebody take advantage of you, and then you just abandonment, you're scared, so you're just going to do, and then
you do self-abandonment, which is the worst, because it's like, I got to be this way for this person.
Yes.
And have a sense of humor.
Yes. Yes.
See, I think if somebody has a sense of humor, I just have yet to have a partner that I felt like matched. Like, I know they're not going to be exactly the same, but just that somebody that wants to laugh, has a sense of humor, that's such a big plus. It's so great that you're so easy to laugh, especially all that you've been through with the cancer, and then you were sharing, like, before we started recording, in law enforcement, and you've had some really intense times.
Yes.
Do you feel like we were saying you listened to Vinny Montez, and how you started seeing his stuff back when Vines were a thing.
Yes.
And that it helped you to laugh, but also he would do some deeper dives about the trauma.
Right. So being with a law enforcement background, that's all I knew back in that time. That's all I concentrated on was law enforcement. Relationship was, I kind of abandoned relationships with my kid, my daughter, even with the relationships with her mom and at the time and everything. Like, everything was all about law enforcement, because that's what I knew. So whenever Vines hit, and then and then YouTube started blowing up, and I started seeing it. Vinny was one of the first ones, Mike and Officer Daniels, so it all started out funny. Then every now and again they throw in a little of that dark humor, and I was like, hey, this is okay, because it was something you didn't normally get involved with or see.
Yes.
So and it was kind of like, this is all right. So we can talk, because we all make those jokes behind closed doors amongst, like, your the handful of friends that you go out with or that you trust,
right,
but never out in the open. So I was like, it was refreshing, and it was almost like a weight, like, all right, so we're not alone, like, everybody kind of thinks this, and it's okay. But it
normalizes it. It's like, I'm not the only one, I'm not alone with this, because I think also, like I said, I got written up in nursing school for some of the dark humor that I used, and then I found out, like, actually it's really helpful to express that vicarious trauma so it doesn't get stuck in your body. I know, again, I'm a broken record on that. That's what Traumedy is all about. But so it helped you, and then so you were saying, like, you had some experiences. Not only did you have to, is it okay to say?
Yeah.
Take a life.
Yes.
You had to take a life. Wow. And then you also got shot. So you've been on both ends of that, which
I giggle. So if anybody heard me giggle whenever the whole get shot, there's a whole story behind that I hope we'll share, and I promise you.
Okay, trigger
warning.
If I can laugh, no pun intended, but trigger warning.
Trigger warning. But if I can laugh about it, you can laugh about it.
Yeah. So. Okay.
So to kind of come full circle, the knowing me before I had cancer, like, I was an absolute jerk. And then I'm gonna give him a shout out, because my sheriff at the time, Gary Stolzer, he made a comment when I went up to move from the jail, which is where I was currently working, to the road division. Asked me, he's like, how did you go from being the guy that nobody wanted to work with, that everybody was kind of scared to say anything around with, whether coworkers or inmates.
Wow, it's hard to imagine.
To being the guy that everybody rallied around. And I say this, and I told you just the other day, cancer. Like, cancer was the absolute best thing that happened to me.
Wow.
Because almost truly dying and putting that thought in your head is completely different than wanting to die, which is where I was at, if I'm being completely honest. And then,
wow.
so you go from, hey, I want to die, I wanted to, and there was suicidal thoughts in there, to, oh my God, I might die, holy crap.
That's when you that's when you actually found your life force.
Yeah, and so
how
and
much
I
you
just
wanted to live.
And it really was like, and I had people around me that gave me a support group. They donated their sick time to me so I wouldn't lose my insurance. So I'm going to get emotional. But it was everybody. It wasn't just coworkers inside like other deputies or correctional officers that worked inside our county jail. It was cooks. It was the nurses. It was admin staff. I mean, everybody rallied around me, and my whole outlook and my whole demeanor just changed. It was the best thing that ever happened.
That's amazing. I'm going to get emotional.
It was.
That's such an outpouring of love for you.
It was. And
Did it just change your heart?
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. And I, there's, like I said, you still carry. I still, to this day, carry, the trauma from the growing up into things, but. I do have to tell myself to sit back every now and again and go, hey, look at where you've been, look at what happened to you, and and look at where you're going, because I'm tracking where I found my niche. I think where I've always been a people person, and I'm happy to be back working with people, not necessarily being, I'm not writing tickets anymore. I'm giving away tickets, but
more on an equal footing.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap back around is that, yeah, so he asked me that, and I've said to everybody, the best thing that happened to me was cancer. And then I went through the cancer scare, and then I have sleep apnea. So now we haven't even talked about this yet. So I'm gonna throw this on you. I had sleep apnea. I don't know if you do or not. So I had sleep apnea, and I had surgery done where they took out my tonsils and adenoids, because I couldn't sleep with the mask. It actually made it lots worse. If I have a phobia, anything around my neck, drives me crazy.
Oh.
So I did a surgery. I had the surgery, I had my tonsils and adenoids removed. So about 2 weeks after I had the surgery, they let me go back to work, light duty. So I sat in what we call the control tower. It was a little quick, so it's probably a 25 by 25 room, and there's a little spiral staircase with a bathroom down below it. And then you were basically locked in there by electronic locks in the jail. So that was my gig.
Are you all alone in there?
So yeah. So everybody, yeah. I mean, other CEOs and deputies would come up, but they were serving lunch. They were serving lunch, and they all walked back out of the block area, is what we'll call it, down to the kitchen area. And so everybody's in the kitchen. There was I think 4 or 5 on duty at that time, and I felt this really warm sensation in the back of my throat, started feeling like I was choking, and the incision in my throat had come open.
Oh no.
And so all I could do was
bleeding out.
Was basically holler for help, unlock the doors to the hallway and to the control room for help to come to me, ran down the spiral staircase, and immediately started bleeding out into a trash can. Long story short is I wound up across the street. Luckily, the hospital was just across the street. And I lost a little, let me think about this. It's either just under or just over half my blood supply.
Whoa.
To the point where they couldn't fly me. I was not stable enough to fly. They brought a helicopter in for me, landed a helicopter, kept it on the ground. And the flight nurse, God love her, and I cannot remember her name. I'll never forget her face, but her name escapes me. And she told me, she's like, "You're gonna be all right." And I'm leaning over a 55-gallon trash can just bleeding out, And she says, "You're going to be all right. We're going to stay on the ground until we can get you ready." And I remember spitting blood and looking at her and telling her, like, I've been around this long enough to know if you got a helicopter waiting for somebody, they're not all right.
Yeah. There's some signs. There's some signs
they're
there.
Not all right.
They got the flight for life, I believe it's called.
So
Yeah.
So luckily they finally got some IV started in me. Got the fluids in me, and obviously they got me cauterized.
And they didn't have units of blood there?
And well, they had to get the bleeding stopped first.
Yeah,
and it was
because
a whole
otherwise.
mess. The doctor that came in was actually on a black tie event, and once again, I'm drawing a blank on names right now. Fantastic man. He also did some of the cancer work with me, and so
wow.
he's
So
on his
he
way.
came in a tuxedo.
He did. He was coming to a black tie affair. Him and his nurse both, like evening gown, tuxedo, and to the point where I was told, I don't remember, to be honest, because I was in and out of consciousness. I was told they didn't even have really time to properly scrub in, that I wound up throwing blood all over his, like, God knows how much, like, truly owned tuxedo.
I wish I wish there was a picture of that.
So,
It was
yeah,
like,
I
I don't know why. I know
was
that's kind of morbid, but
like
I was like,
Friday Night at Freddy's or something. It was crazy.
wow.
So-
that's dedication.
so
That's how. Yeah.
Yes. So that happens, and I cheat death there. I'm like a cat with 9 lives, and I'm on like life 10. So fast forward to, just to warn everybody, like this is kind of a dark spot.
Okay. Trigger warning.
This is in 2006. I was involved in a call through law enforcement through a department that I went to. I changed departments, and not to go into great detail, domestic. I located the suspect. He had a knife. I spent a lot of time discussing life with him. He was in a dark spot, and unfortunately, things changed. There was a threat to me. I reacted accordingly. Just so everybody knows, like there was no ever any charges. I was always cleared. But a young man lost his life. I took that life, put me in a very dark place, very dark hole for a very long time. The department I work for sent me to a couple weeks of therapy. I was already signed up to leave that department. I already had a job offer and a job at another department before this ever happened. So as soon as my basically, I felt like once my 2 weeks was up, they just kind of dumped me. So they dumped my therapy, they dumped everything, and it was like, hey, here you go on your own. And I didn't know any better at the time. I didn't really tell anybody. There were definitely signs. People around me knew. They gave me all the support that they knew to give me. But it was very, very ugly, to the point where suicide was a very realistic thought. I got into law enforcement to save lives, not take lives. That's all I could think of.
Yeah. When you think of the name peace officer,
Yeah.
trying to serve the community. So when we think, okay, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Well, when I think about law enforcement, and people love to hate cops right now, and it's sort of like we don't realize that's the worst thing that can happen. Like you'd rather take a bullet than send one in a weird. Is that true?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know you've done both. You can speak from
Yes.
experience,
Yes.
but that was much harder for you.
Yes.
And it took such a toll, and probably still does.
It does. I try to talk to people, especially those in law enforcement. I have been involved where I've personally known people who have been involved in shootings, and I've had an opportunity to sit down with them and kind of decompress with them, and it's therapeutic for me, and I know it helps them because I had people who tried, but there was nobody in my immediate circle that had been through an actual shooting.
You need someone that knows, like, and I'm
So-
sure there's books out there now that say, here's the cycle you're going to go through. Or
Yeah.
like, is there, like just like they say, like
don't
with
know.
cancer, there's these stages of
Right.
grief, or there's you don't know. There's not a
Right.
resource that you know of. It's just personal
No, it's
experience.
personal experience. I don't. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. And the other thing too is I'm gonna give. I'm gonna call her out by name, but I was working with a girl named, and I don't think I got a lot of. I did get a lot of the attention that they did have, but she was also very new to the job. She was a rookie, and she was there to back me up, and she was involved. She didn't pull the trigger, but she was involved. So she went through she went through a lot of the same stuff I was going through. So, we kind of helped each other as much as we could, but it was it was ugly. It was just, there was no other way to say it. It was just a very ugly time. It was and I felt, I felt very bad for the family. I felt very bad for myself. And, and then I had friends and family that, it got ugly. And I kind of I have to leave it at that. I don't want to go into particulars.
Okay.
But it did. It got ugly for everybody involved, and emotions got involved, and it was just a very ugly time. And I don't want, comfortable is not the right word. Like, I've become more open about it, just because I do think that there's a healing process for me. And over the last maybe 10 years, I've kind of been able to talk about it a little more without reliving it, because probably 12 years ago, I wouldn't be able to tell you a story without having a complete mental breakdown.
Oh, wow.
So it's
well, thank you for doing this, because I know, like I say, one of the other things when I talk about co-healing, but also I want people to know they're not alone. Like, there's somebody, somebody will hear it that is like, oh man, this guy, I get this. Like, I'm not the only guy that's gone through something like this. And obviously it gets better, and I don't know if there's any humor, but maybe not with this one. I don't know.
But no, with that one, no. So this is gonna sound really weird. The getting shot part is where the humor comes in, which is odd to say.
Or maybe it feels like karmic, like it cleansed some of your karma.
Maybe. Just after a year, after the officer involved shooting where the life was taken, I was involved in a high. There was a pursuit. It was just a high tense situation. At one point, my gun was out, and then it was reholstered, and there was a scuffle, and my gun in my holster went off and shot me through the top of my leg, traveled through the top of my quad, severed everything. It missed the bone, the femur, and then it missed the artery by just centimeters. Like, literally it was centimeters of probably not being here. I'd have bled out. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
So if you're keeping track, I think it's life 6 or 7. I don't know, something like that. But
yeah.
So like, I sat in this ditch, bleeding out, but my first thought was, because I left somebody in the vehicle to help take down the suspect, and then I had two other deputies with me, both my supervisors. I had a captain and a sergeant with me, and my first thought was, and I tell everybody, like, the way the human brain works is amazing to me, because my first thought was, I just got one of my friends shot, because I heard the gun, but I didn't realize it was me.
Oh, okay.
So I look up, because one's in front of me, and he seems to be okay, and he's looking at me. And then I went to look at the one behind me, and I put weight on my leg, and I rolled over, and then immediately, like, I rolled over, and my thought in my head, I swear to you this day, was, oh shit, it was me. And then I went into kind of a bit of a panic mode, and then your training kicks in, or instinct kicks in, and your brain recalls all these things that you don't realize you remember. So I had a very complicated watch band at the time. It's used a lot today. Actually, I got the same band on today, or same kind of clasp today, but it was a very new watch, and it was a very loved watch by me. And when the ambulance showed up, they were going to cut it off me because they couldn't figure out how to get the clasp undone. And I told her, I said, well, no, I'll take care of that. So, like, I still had my motor functions, and and I was trying to keep myself calm, and which, I'm not a real smart man, but I'm smart enough to know that I know there's a massive blood vessel that runs right next to your leg right there.
That's right, the femoral artery.
I couldn't move my leg. I figured it was severed. I figured I was done. I really did. Like, I was making plans in my mind that this is it. Like, you've done cooked yourself. It's over. So.
But you saved that watch.
But yeah, save the watch.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
Oh, no.
Great.
What was that? I was thinking, I didn't know if there was a Barney Fife thing that was going to happen. Because he was always kind of shooting.
Yeah, so the funny part was that everybody said, no, you're good. It's funny, and it is a Barney Fife moment, because everybody that At first, everybody was like, "So you shot yourself?" And I mean, to be honest with you, at first I was kind of like, "F you, no." And I was like, "Well, kinda." Like, yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, but now I really do laugh about it. And the great thing is I know we're on. You can't see this. There's a tattoo on my shoulder.
Okay, I'll take a picture of it.
That says, and it's a little faded, but bear with me.
Okay.
It's got the date. It's got a Superman tattoo, or a Superman emblem with a bullet hole in it. And the saying on it is not quite bulletproof. Because
that's hilarious.
Everybody used to tell me that I'm not Superman, you can't save everybody, you got to eventually slow down. And I got taught my lesson. So I am not bulletproof, I am not Superman. So, and so yeah.
Not
so
quite bulletproof.
Just you gotta roll with it.
And that's an ongoing like reminder, especially in the mirror. You see that and you're like, okay, remember, you can't do everything, and I'm not quite bulletproof. And it's such a great, like, the fact that you could take a lighter perspective, and I'm sorry I brought up the Barney Fife thing, but as soon as you said that, I was like, I was like, don't say it, because that I don't. It was like we were whatever the Joey who was here last night doing Otis Campbell impressions. I was like, Andy Griffith was a huge part of my life. But yeah, man, you got to have self-forgiveness. You got to the universe keeps giving us these opportunities. Everybody says God has a sense of humor, but I'm asking God, could I please learn from delight rather than suffering now? Because it's enough of that. You don't need to be like the cat and have 9. You don't need 3 more.
No, I'm good.
Okay, you're good, right? You're good. Let's just call that good. We got the message.
So, I have friends that are law enforcement, military, and it's a first responders, military, they're a close-knit group of people, and I tell everybody all the time, like, if you reach out to me, as long as I'm available and I see the message, I will be more than happy to give you somebody to talk to. So,
that's amazing. Well, how could people reach you?
So I am. So if they reach out on Facebook, it's Jason Lewis.
L-O-U.
Yeah, L-O-U-I-S.
Okay, Jason Lewis, not like Jerry.
Not Jerry. And you'll see me. And if I could, I'd like. So the company I work for now is a cannabis company. It's a Stairway Cannabis. It's out of Branson. It's got this big, flowery Cybertruck on my profile that you can't miss. So if you see the Cybertruck, you found me.
With the cannabis wrap? There's not going to be, and you're in Branson, you're not going to miss, there's not going to be another Cybertruck with a cannabis. I got to tell you, when I walked up today, because, I was raised here, and and like I said, I live in Boulder, Colorado now, and little alternative lifestyles, pansexual, vegan. It's like, I was sort of like, okay, I feel like I have to be a little in the closet, but, and not that it matters, like I said, I'm a barely sexual at this age. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But I was just going to say, when I saw the cannabis truck in front, I was like, okay, I think we're going to be all right. You know what I mean? Like, Branson has shifted.
You have a huge globe and you have a cannabis truck. What else do you want?
What I love about doing these shows, and I got to be honest, it's been a little challenging, because it's like trying to get everybody on one page, and it's like all different ages, people from different backgrounds, people from, all different parts of the country and Branson, but I think it's really cool, because I think what this club is doing is bringing people together from all walks of life. And thank you, Jason.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll put a link.
Pleasure.
Thank you. I'll try not to step on what you're saying.
No, you're good.
I'm going to say it again. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
And I will put a link in the show notes to your Facebook page if anybody wants to reach out. And it could be a positive thing too. They don't have to just reach out in a crisis, but that you're open to talking to somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, thank you. That's a big gift. Big gift to me and a big gift to our listeners.
Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
I want to thank my guest, Jason Lewis, and reach out to him on Facebook. I put some links in the show notes for Jason's Facebook, my website. Also, I put a link in the show notes for Copline. There's some other resources I found online for officers going through mental health difficulties. So don't isolate with that. Make sure you talk to somebody. Don't try to be stoic, PTSD. You can't muscle yourself through it. Trust me, get some trauma therapy. You'll be so glad you did. Sending lots of love to everybody. Thanks for listening. And remember, no matter what, keep laughing.